Staley the musician.
My first band was the Mad Cows, and that started in 90. I guess it was around 1990. We started, and it was an acoustic three-piece. Phil Huey on guitar, Michael Mansell on bass, and I sang. At that point I wasn't really playing instruments. And we released Utter Disappointment, which is our first album. So we sold it for $2 in the high school parking lot. We ended up using the proceeds to buy a few meals at Taco Bell. Michael Mansell wasn't invited to that, and that began to cause some general rifts in the band. He felt like we used his portion of the proceeds to Taco Bell and didn't invite him, but quite clearly we only made $6, and it would have been very hard for three of us to get a Nachos Bel Grande for that price.
What about the Mad Cows?
The Mad Cows, short-lived, experimental. I hear there are a bunch of Nacho Bel Grande eating hippies, but
Do you hear the music?
You know, I don't think that's what's important about the Mad Cows.
You've never heard the music?
I won't say I haven't, but I won't say I have.
Okay.
We had a few gigs in high school. BJ's house, played a party at BJ's, was our first gig.
So where is this? Well, this is in
It'll be Montgomery, Alabama. I was in maybe 10th grade,
okay.
10th, 11th grade, and we did play a party at BJ's. Once again, interestingly enough, Michael Mansell was not at that party, but it was our first gig, and that was the only time that everyone was really listening. That it was a room full of high school students that were seated, we were at the front of the room, and that was the first and probably only time that people really did listen for the whole set. Yeah, and we played Addicted, Salt and Pepper Shaker.
All originals.
All originals. We did have a version later of Wild Thing, which we made Lounge Thing.
How would you describe your sound?
It was definitely just like kind of acoustic blues. I was influenced by Dylan and silliness, you know, acoustic, it's folky, and a little bit of humor. Things like this. We continued to play. We then started to get into alcohol and some other types of distractions, and we did our second album, which was called Armpit. Certainly a more experimental album. There's a song about where's the cooler, who stole the cooler. And Armpit really did mark a turn. Some of our fans, some of the purest Mad Cow fans, felt that Armpit was not the direction we should go in, but we did continue to hammer away. We played a gig at the Jubilee Festival. We didn't play one of the main stages, but we did play in the lobby of the convention center.
So what is the Jubilee Festival?
The Jubilee, it is a big festival in Montgomery. They have down by the river a big music festival and arts festival. Again, let me emphasize that we didn't play on one of the main stages. We played in the lobby of the convention center, and Ronald McDonald actually was the person who opened for us, and so he had a show with balloons. He was bending and tying balloons, and the reason we got the gig is the Alabama Clogging Association canceled, and so they needed us to fill. So we actually were filling in for the clogging. And there's some good footage of that show. We did Joey's Missing Sandal, which didn't get ever laid down on any tapes. Our recording was really rudimentary. We just took actually a pair of headphones and hung them from the ceiling, which was dubbed the pulley system, and we sang into these headphones, which was plugged into a jam box, because you know headphones can have microphones too or whatever if you plug them in right. So very low tech.
So let me get this straight. Say that again.
Okay, so we had these headphones.
Headphones used as a microphone.
Headphones used as a microphone, yeah.
Okay.
Plugged into the mic jack into a jam box.
I see.
And that was how we recorded most of the albums.
This tape right here?
Yeah, that was one of those.
On Grandma Moses.
Grandma Moses.
First was Utter Disappointment is Grandma Moses?
Yeah, pretty much. Grandma Moses.
This is your label.
Yeah, Grandma Moses Records is a label I've always gone with. Not sure why. I know that Grandma Moses was an artist, a folk artist of some sort. I like the name. I wanted something that represented maturity, and it seemed to me that Grandma Moses was, you know, mature, if anything, although we were not, and so I felt like that would augment our reputation. We continued to move on. Then when we went to college, we did still play occasionally. We had one gig at Panda's Pavilion, which was my friend Andrew's backyard, and that was where everything fell apart.
Panda's Pavilion, everything falls apart.
Panda's Pavilion 2006, basically, no, 1996 I believe it was. That's when everything fell apart. Michael Mansell came up from Auburn, Phil came over for the show, and it was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We practiced all day. It was a really trying practice. My throat wasn't used to the singing. We did practice all day, and we had the show that night. There was a good 10 to 12 people at each of the two sets, different people, by the way. After the show, there again, Taco Bell was at the crux of the argument. We were back at my apartment, and Phil and I were talking about going to Taco Bell, and Michael got very angry with us, and he said that I thought I was so cool, and we never really included him in the band right, and he ended up yelling and cussing at us and storming out, and that marked the break of Michael Mansell from the Mad Cows. From that point on, it was pretty much an acoustic duo.
The Mad Cows never were the same.
They weren't the same. I mean, it lost a voice. It did lose a voice, and the bass voice. And now Phil has since to go on to do Christian albums. He has a number of Christian albums, and yeah. So we did a few more recordings. We did the Blake album, you know, with such classics as the Fart Factory, Harappa, was a teenage sensation. It was a teenage sensation that rocked the entire nation. This is Coach Craig McKissick, one of my high school coaches there that didn't really care for me. And then just basically 4 nerds from the high school yearbook I cut out. I felt like that was appropriate. Of course, these are handmade albums, and this was the only album we ever really sold. But after
Utter Disappointment?
Utter Disappointment's the only one we ever sold, like I said, for $2. The other ones, if we could give them away, we did. To limited luck, and we did, you know, pretty much at that point it was just something for our own record keeping. And
right.
so the band, like I said, at Christmas breaks, summer breaks, through college, we went on, but at that point it did deteriorate.